This week on Stable Talk we come to you from Cape Twon, and it's been a fairly chilly Cape Twon over the last couple of weeks, as the man I'm going to be chatting to, Jay Ramsden, will attest. Jay, the weather's really played havoc with you in the last couple of weeks, hasn't it?
I hope I can warm you up, Jimmy, because I hope I'm not the chilly one. But no, the weather's not been great. It's been a real old Cape winter, like we haven't had for many a year.
Yeah.
And you take sort of 2 steps forward and probably 1.5 steps back with the horses, particularly in fitness terms, and it's very tough.
If you look around here, apart from the Jack Russells, there are geese, there are what else have you got? Sheep.
Sheep. We've got a few Indian runner ducks.
Correct, and a pony.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've got all sorts of things wandering around, costing me money and eating what little profit there is. But they're great eye candy for the horses.
Did you grow up in amongst horses? Did you
No,
ride?
not at all. I was lucky. My parents divorced, and my father, he was always interested in horses from a pedigree and from a form perspective. He ended up marrying someone that had a horsey background, and at that stage I was sort of riding ponies and things. And she very kindly took me under the wing, took me pony clubbing, pony club camp, and doing all those things.
What brought you to South Africa in the first place?
I'd been very lucky. I'd worked around the world. I left school with a few O-levels and went and was a manure forwarding agent in America, in Kentucky. And I was on one of Robert Sangster's stud farms there. We had some great race mares, Detroit, Royal Heroine and Fairy Bridge, Dama Saddle as well.
Yes.
And it was just a fantastic time and a place to be. I was there for 1.5 years and then went to Australia to work in the racing stables. I got the opportunity to come out here and, with one objective, stay away from horses. But of course, the first person I bumped to had a leg in a horse with the late Michael Roberts, and that's where it all started.
So you started up in Johannesburg
Yes.
with Michael.
Yeah.
What sort of a mentor was he?
Mentor or mental? Michael was going through a tough period in his life, but he was still a good fellow and a good person. He very much sort of left me on my own to sort of do things, which was an amazing sort of vote of confidence considering my knowledge. But I was lucky enough to have good fellows around me. Ricky Howard Ginsberg and Mike de Kock, David Ferraris was there. And I was lucky enough to be able to being on my own. If I didn't know what to do or how to do it, I'd basically either pick their brains, or if it came to work mornings to make it look like I knew what I was doing, I'd send my horses off to follow theirs. I just had to know which one was running when, that was all, to have a little bit of an idea as to what piece of work they might be doing.
And then your next stepping stone, if we can call him a stepping stone, would have been Vaughan Marshall.
That's right, yeah. Vaughan came and brought up a small string to Johannesburg, and made me, and seen I'd been a bit lucky with Michael, and made me an offer to try and start up a satellite yard in Port Elizabeth, and that's what we went on and did.
Now, the other day you were saying on one of your blogs, which I must compliment you on instantly, I found them hilarious.
I'll make you read them though, Jimmy.
Yeah, no, but I'm going to become a regular now. But you were saying that you had to attend your daughter's, it was a school function, she was going to sing. But she gets some singing ability I've heard from way back when, that I think it's inherited.
Jimmy, yeah, obviously you can tell from the tone of my voice, that, like yourself, that I come from a musical background. But she's enthusiastic, Jimmy, a bit like I was when I was playing the drums.
Yeah, that's what I heard,
Like
that there was a boy band.
That's right, yeah, it was a little bit of something, and that was a bit of fun.
yourself?
We were called Policed, Jimmy, and we probably should have been.
Every step you take, every move you make, every bite you break, I'll be watching you. Every step you take, every move you make.
Looking at the list of horses that you've chosen to show us today on our Stable Talk tour, a fairly mixed bag. Horses that have yet to prove themselves, obviously up and coming, but some that appear to have struggled physically and that you're returning to racing, but you're obviously doing that because they've got promise.
Yeah, what we try and do is, we try not to keep the horse in for 365 days of the year. We very much, a lot of horses go out and spell for a lot of the time. So, you know, that then just sort of leaves us with a gap and a little bit of catch-up, and that's happened to us a little bit this year, where we think some of the nicer sort of unraced 3-year-olds, or maybe 3-year-olds that have had one run and then had to be cut and then come out now. So that's why I've chosen a couple of the nice unraced horses. A few of them still up in Natal, so we can't see them, like Silvano's Jet, who ran second to Jackson in the Champion Stakes, and Red Ray, who ran second in the Group 1 at Turfentine, the nursery. And a couple of others, so they're still enjoying the warmth up there.
One that didn't go with you to Natal was King of Pain.
Yeah.
And I believe we're going to have a look at him first.
Yeah.
King of Pain, Cape Twon now is going to lunge late. Here comes the line, desperately close. I think King of Pain might have lost it a short head over Cape Twon. King of Pain, a terrific performance under top weight. He's flat to the boards, and I think he might have lost it just long enough from a flying Cape Twon up the outside. And King of Pain has this one safe. He's drawing away. King of Pain goes away to win it well from Silvano's Jet.
Joe, he looks a bit of a gregarious type.
Yes, he
I
is.
hope.
He's an absolute star, and he's got a great nature. He's got a great attitude, and everything that
come and
goes.
have a look.
Yeah, have a look at him. Have a look at him. And he's very, very keen on carrots, Jimmy. You may feed him.
Oh, there we go.
Very, very keen on carrots.
All right.
He's very, very straightforward, and he's just like you and I, Jimmy, one of life's lovers.
Tell me, the grey, I was actually having a look at his pedigree, and he traces back to Mahmood, so I
That's
imagine
right.
it's come right through. And Roan Rocket figures in his
That's right, Jimmy. You've
in
done
his
your
tail
homework,
female line, which also I had a look, figures in Frankel's tail female line. So
That's
there we
right.
go. You just have to live up to Frankel, boy, don't you?
Not too hard for him, but I was actually very lucky. I bred him myself along with Craig Carey
did you?
at Arkansas, and I inherited his dam as a bad debt, which has probably continued to be so, as I wasn't able to sort of sell him as a yearling. She's in Foal to Var, and I think the mare's very good. I think, you know, hopefully he'll end up doing something and enhancing the family and the pedigree.
Joe, just looking at the races that you might have in mind for him.
Yeah, you know, it's a standard build-up. You know, if he's
Yeah.
good enough, you know, you do things like the Greenpoint Stakes, the Queen's Plate, and then the Met. Hopefully, he'll do a race before the Greenpoint Stakes. There's usually quite a nice sort of progress plate or something that comes up. It's a standard sort of build-up, and sadly, we all have to go in and do it. You know, there was one standout horse this year, and luckily enough, in Variety Club. And which then made it tough for the others. I'm hoping there's no Variety Club round this year, you know, for him as to where and how we go about doing it.
Down the inside, Pomodoro, Marshall Eagle, then comes Jackson up the outside. It's Variety Club, the reigning horse of the year. He's finding another gear, and Variety Club, Poetry in Motion, wins the Lombard Queen's Plate.
Just touching on Variety Club now, he's left our shores. I think Mauritius was the last time I heard of him.
He's still there, and then he's off to the UK, then to finish up the quarantine, and then he'll go off to Dubai with a plan of giving him probably 2 or 3 runs there towards the back end of the Dubai season, and then doing there's a mile race in Hong Kong, and that's very much his sort of object, and then a little bit of a holiday, and maybe taking in a race or 2 midsummer in the UK.
Okay, well, obviously something to.
But that's
for
all a
South
long way
African
ahead.
Yeah, but something for South African fans to really look forward to.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah,
As I said, but it's still very much a long way ahead. We've got a lot of miles to get into him, not just physically, but air milishly before then, and an awful lot can go wrong.
Joe, this horse is a Victory Moon, I believe.
Yeah, he's Muscat. He came from Gavin Smith, who's done a fantastic job with him, and he's owned by Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Evans, who raced extensively, a lot in Singapore, and they very much wanted to export him and see how good he was. You know, it's very tough to get them out, and if he doesn't get out, he could well end up having a race or 2 here, but it all depends when it actually happens. But you know, I picked him out because he is very good, and he's a smashing horse, and if he does stay, he'll certainly make his mark.
This is one of 2 stable blocks then that you're operating at Milton. In total, how many horses was involved?
Well, at our max, we run at 125. We drop down to 80, 70 odd in the winter, and then build ourselves back up.
Well, Joe, Epon not only makes a good food, but quite obviously they make a pretty decent settee.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fantastic settee. Obviously, if it's noisy in my office, I often come in here and do my blog from here, so it's a pretty good office as well.
But you've been the EPOL man for how long?
Yeah, a very long time, probably about 14 years. I found it to be extremely good feed. It's consistent, and it is what it says it is on the bag.
Yeah, it seems that the consistency factor is the key.
Yeah, that's what EPOL have done best for my 14 years of using it. It's consistently good, high quality feed. It's not something we actually just leave to chance. We often will pull away a random sample and send it off to have it analysed, and they've never been found to be short yet, I can assure you. It's a very, very high grade quality product.
Well, now time for EPOL's helpful hint of the week.
Research has shown that a 475 to 500 kilogram racehorse in full training requires around 135 megajoules of digestible energy per day to meet its needs and to provide sufficient muscle energy stores or glycogen to race on a repeated basis. It's advisable to allow for at least 36 hours to elapse after intense work for the glycogen stores to be replenished in the muscles.
Wine Master, this is a 3-year-old, just turned 3?
Yeah, he's a horse just turned 3 who came to us sort of, just towards the end of the autumn. And then it's quite hard to get them going with the soft ground and the tracks the way they are. So he's having his debut this week. I've chosen him as a horse I think is quite smart. So he'll probably run like a dog and make a complete monkey out of me. But he's by Jetmaster and he's beautifully bred. He's got some lovely partners in him and we all really like him, which is also a bad sign, Jimmy.
So he will have raced by the time we actually...
Yeah, he will have raced. He's having a run tomorrow. I'd be surprised if he was good enough to win first time out, particularly with the way the ground is. But he's a smart horse, and we all think he's got a future. Let's hope we're right.
Okay, well, we did an interview with Duncan Howells.
Yep.
He was the last one.
Proper trainer.
A proper trainer, yes. And and 3 of the horses he singled out for us have gone and won, or went and won before we even screened it. So let's hope to know.
Listen, now you're about to see what a mug I am. Not a proper trainer, but a mug.
Storm up towards the outside's trying hard. Natural down the inside, Evening Storm. Natural stays on to win it from Evening Storm.
Joe, you've been quoted as saying that you were quite impressed by the first crop of Judd Pot. You obviously had a couple, and this was one of them.
Even before I have to say, every year you get asked by the breeders what your pick or what your choice is. And for 16 years I've managed to get it completely and utterly wrong, and have picked a complete bunch of dog stallions that have been of no use whatsoever. Usually I've sent my own mares to them as well, Jimmy, in the process, bankrupting myself, so I backed myself on that aspect as well. But for once I called Judd Pot right, and I thought he was going to be a nice sire of the future, and recommended him. So I'm feeling rather smug about that one, Jimmy, and trying to obliterate the last 16 years. And this is one of them. He won first time out.
His name is?
His name is Juddering Angel. He's homebred, and he's a brother to a horse that won over 2 miles. So hopefully he should get the trip.
Also taking off, we got Sunday Sun. It's wide open, but Juddering Angel has taken the lead, and Juddering Angel goes on to score. Sunday Sun is in second.
Joe, this is a horse that wasn't originally on your list, but you've obviously got a feeling about him. Who is he? What is he?
He's, listen, you put the Howells factor into me, Jimmy, so I had to pull out something that I thought was quite good, and it was a bit safer in the maiden company. So he's a horse called Set Your Sights, and he's by the great horse Chestnut.
Really?
And he's owned by Brian and Wayne, but he's a smashing horse. He goes very nicely. My wife rides him out every day. He's a lovely ride, and he's looked after by the man that looked after to Winter Solstice. And it's not the only good horse Andile's looked after. He's looked after some other good ones in his day. And I promise you, when men strike gold like that, then you want to listen. And he also tells me he's a good horse.
Andile, do you think he's as good as Winter?
Yeah, this one is better.
Better?
Bloody hell.
Better?
Good was this one.
Well, we're going to hold you to that.
It goes from bad to worse, Jimmy.
Eh?
It goes from
We're
the
gonna hold you
Dunkelhound,
to
Winter
that.
Solstice,
But
and
I
now
must
this.
say, Jay, looking at him, I mean, physically, he's very much like his sire.
Yeah, he is very much like his size. Listen, as I said, I was very lucky enough to have a lot to do with Horse Chestnut, and he was a beast and a huge big horse. He's a lovely big horse. This probably not quite as big as Horse Chestnut, but Horse Chestnut was just a once in a lifetimer.
Joe Ramsden represents the old school of Cape trainer, men like Theo de Klerk of 30 or 40 years ago. Very affable, agreeable fellow, and never one who is short for words. But I can thoroughly recommend that you go onto his website, Good Hope Racing, and have a look at Joey's daily blog. That'll keep you entertained. Join us again in a fortnight's time when we'll be chatting to another Cape trainer in Brett Crawford. In the meantime, find us on our Stable Talk page on Facebook.